Now, hundreds of trapped miners in South Africa can now heave a sigh of relief as they have been safely brought back to the surface after being stuck underground at a mine in the Free State province for 2 days. A total number of 955 workers have been trapped in a gold mine since Wednesday after a storm interfered with electricity supply. Now, the spokesperson for the mining company says all the miners are safe and are receiving food and water, but there were some cases of dehydration and high blood pressure, but nothing serious. South Africa is a leading gold producer in the world, but safety in the industry is often questioned. Now, joining us now is our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibier from Johannesburg, to talk us through that situation in South Africa. Hello, Betty. What is the health condition of the workers, 955 of them at this time, who were trapped? I will try to establish a link with Betty in the course of the program. But let's move on. And still in South Africa, well, the parliament has scheduled a motion of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma for February the 22nd, following a request from the opposition Economic Freedom Fighters, that's the EFF party. Now, Mr. Zuma has survived several no confidence votes during his scandal-plagued presidency, but then the calls for him to step down have grown louder since he was replaced as leader of the ruling African National Congress Party in December. Reports say top ANC officials, including Cyril Ramaphosa, the party's new leader, have been discussing options for Mr. Zuma's departure. Now, President Zuma is expected to meet the party's top 6 officials this weekend, but the agenda of the meeting has not been revealed. All right, now let's get back to our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibier, who joins us from Johannesburg on the situation concerning the 955 miners trapped there in South Africa. So tell us, what can we say about the condition of the miners at this point?
Well, thankfully, we have a happy ending for this particular case, but it must have been very traumatic, not just for the miners, but also the family members, because we recorded cases where people were not lucky enough to be brought back up, probably because of the danger or how precarious it is to get people out. But this ended well. They've had trauma counselors meeting them, the medical team. We understand some of the miners were treated for minor injuries and dehydration, and some have actually gone home. But South Africa has some of the deepest mines in the world. So being trapped there for over 30 hours must have been traumatic for them. But thankfully, everybody came out to the surface.
And that was quite a huge number, 955 in the mine underground. We understand that a cotton pile caused by a storm is the reason for this accident. But do you think anything is being done, to prevent another occurrence of this, of what happened that we've seen? Is there any plan on ground by the government to prevent this?
Well, it will be in the interest for that company and any other company to make sure that something is being done. In this particular case, we know that the fury of nature can be held back, but contingency plan is what has come to the fore. What plans were made to ensure that if power is cut from Eskom, which is the national provider, what have you in place? We understand they had generators to continue what they were doing or to help get the people out. But according to the spokesperson of the company, the storm affected the generators as well. Of course, people are arguing if that is really the case. Some have accused the company of not caring too much about the people, but that's the issue. Contingency plan for the safety and security of the miners is the source of debate at the moment.
Right. Now, South Africa is regarded as, a leader in gold mining and production. Of course, does this incident, that we've seen, does it pose any danger to communities, close to those mining areas? Or, we can't rule out these things. They can happen, but how about the communities in those areas? Do they have any worries at all for if this sort of things happen?
Well, that's a totally different issue. Anywhere you have exploitation of the environment or exploration in the environment, the surrounding communities will have expectations. Their communities are being destroyed, and so it's a totally different issue compared to what we are talking about. But I'll still say that there are expectations of the people in many of the mining communities. I remember Marikana, people expected a lot of things. They were fighting over pay, the Marikana killings and all that. But regarding the communities, there are expectations. Whether the expectations are being met is another thing. But hopefully the new ANC president, who people expect to be the president of the country probably next year, was a former mining leader, and he's a stakeholder in the mining industry. Maybe things would improve. That's the expectation of many people.
All right. Thank you so much, Betty Dibia, our South African Bureau Chief there, for your thoughts on the mining issue there in Johannesburg. Well, still to come on the program. Our Africa Tech segment takes a look at how entrepreneurship and information technology have become the life wire of the world's economy. In a moment, stay with us.